Hi everyone, it's Marguerite again with Wreaths by Marguerite, where we turn ribbon and mesh and a little creativity into some beautiful wreaths and other designs. Today we are spending the time with me building this beautiful church themed rose gold and champagne colored wreath. It is a storm door wreath, but it is designed with some florals in it as well, which is a little bit different than what you see most of the time. So stay tuned and follow along and see how this progresses to this beautiful wreath. Let's do this. Well, apparently I didn't have it on like I was supposed to in the first place. So I don't know how much you saw at this point, but we're going to go from here. I'm going to review very quickly what I've done so far as a reminder in case I really didn't record the beginning. Don't know how that happened, but that's life. So we started with the 14¼ inch frame with 4 rings on it. There's 6 pipe cleaners on rings 1 and 2, the first 2. And then there's 6 pipe cleaners in between the crossbars on rings 3 and 4. Okay, that's what holds your mesh in. I have completed the first layer of mesh, and then I've added 3 of the ribbon tails. So I'm going to go ahead and assume I didn't record that and go ahead and show you the next 3 here and then move into the top layer. The tools we're using are a wire cutter, some scissors, needle nose pliers, a chip clip, a wooden dowel. If you don't have a wooden dowel, use a pen or a pencil, a 6-inch embroidery needle to put the sign on, and if I didn't say it already, the chip clip. So let me get the tools all back out of the way. I've made 12 ribbon bundles with 3 ribbons each at 12 inches in length. The mesh, I have 12 pieces of mesh at 20 inches in length. I'm using 2 meshes. One is a print, one is a solid color. Okay. 12 is a common number. 12 pipe cleaners, 12 pieces of mesh, and 12 bundles of ribbon. So let's go ahead and do this. This is often what happens when I record 2 tutorials in one day. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to gather the ribbon down the center where I creased it and make an inverted V. So that means that the tails tips face the edge of the table and put them in the pipe cleaners. Okay. I'm going to twist it tight and low 3 times. And then we're going to twist in an upward fashion towards the ceiling 6 to 8 times. Cut off the excess that's not twisted and tuck it into the mesh. Okay. We're going to position our ribbon by lifting the top 2 away from the bottom one. Give it a good tug. Place your first ribbon in position. Then do the same thing again. Lift and separate. Position your ribbon and push out any gathers you can at the top, closest to the pipe cleaner. And then you're going to do the same thing with your last ribbon. And then on the other side, I put this one down the bottom and this one towards the center of the wreath. Bottom meaning closest to me. So I'm going to turn that a little. And then I'm going to place that down there. As I'm lifting and separating, I'm pushing out these little bubbles. And then I'm going to place it down. I like to push it down like this a little bit to make sure it stays where it's supposed to. It doesn't always work. Plus, also, it keeps it compact. And I don't handle the ribbon from the tips. Okay, so here's going to be the next one. Gathering it. Sometimes I gather it from the top, sometimes I'm gathering it from the bottom. Making sure these tails are even on both sides, I'm putting them in the wreath. Lift 1, 2, and 3 twists tight and low, then 6 to 8 upwards towards the ceiling. I say 6 to 8 because it just depends on how tightly you twist it. Cut the excess off, tuck it into the wreath, and then position your ribbon. You're going to take the top 2 away from the bottom, place that in its position, lift and separate again, place that in its position. Don't fuss with it too much because you'll go back at the end of the project and make sure everything is neatly pulled out and straight on the bottom layer to the edge of the wreath. Separate, Lift, separate, position, and position. I'm going to do that little push down thing there because we've done it so far. Keeps it nice and thin. And this is the last bundle for this layer. Place that in there. Tighten low 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 8. I'm getting it done in 6 twists. Depends on how tightly you twist. Lift, separate, position. Lift, separate, position. Get those little bubbles out from the gathers. And then let's do this final one on this layer. Alright, so that's your first layer. More to come. We're going to take the pipe cleaners from that are on the rings 3 and 4 and pull them up between each piece of this mesh. And then we're going to lay them horizontally because we need the mesh to lay in vertically. Lift out, make it horizontal. That's 2. There's the third one. 3 to go. That. Stay. It's the 5th one. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the final one, number 6. Alright, and just like I did on the bottom layer, I'm going to put the champagne in first because I want the multicolored stripe to be featured the most. The multicolored stripe again has, looks like a little bit of silver. It's more of a champagne, a rose gold, and a cream. So let's get started. Alright, I'm going to uncurl it at the edge of the table. It's always curl side down. Clip the top. And then fold it on the other end to find your center so you know where your starting point is. So you can stay centered. Start gathering with both hands into your thumbs, but then I take it and hold it at the top with one hand and gather with one. Okay? Bring it up to the top. Make sure you have half on each side of the center, keeping the edges as close to flush as possible. Bring it over to your frame, putting it in vertically. So half is on each side of the center of the pipe cleaners. Twist, tighten low 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That's keeping the depth of your wreath under 4 inches so you can use it behind a storm door. So we're now taking the outside cut edge and putting it over the inside cut edge, and the outside cut edge over the inside cut edge. Now it looks like way more is on the inside, so I'm going to hold it from the pipe cleaners. And I'm going to bring it out a little bit to even it up. There we go. Fabulous. Now we're going to skip this one and we're going to go to the next champagne one. Because we're doing every other, and then the other design will go in between these 3. Use the table to uncurl it. Curl side down always. Clip your center so you have a guide. And to hold it down on the table so it doesn't curl up like that so easily. Otherwise you're fighting a battle on multiple fronts. So I am using this technique now where you use 2 hands all the way. You just make sure you keep your eye on that clip to stay centered. Okay? And as you go, you'll find bits and pieces of the mesh fraying. You're going to want to cut that off as you go so you don't have to find it later. Keep your project clean and neat. Alright, we're going to go in. We're skipping this one and we're going to this one. Halfway point. 3 times low and twist the pipe cleaner. 1, 2, 3. I lift it up out of the air, in the air, so it's out of my way while I'm working on it. Outside cut edge. That ribbon wants to come with it. Nope. We've got a lot of elements in here now, so you're fighting it all. Outside cut edge over inside cut edge on one side. Okay. And then we're doing the same thing on the other side. You notice I'm not handling the outside edge of the mesh. Because you do that, you're going to disrupt the design, and it's going to look less than perfect. We don't want that. You grab down by the pipe cleaner, and I often hold the pipe cleaner as I'm pulling so that I have leverage as well as it not untwist. That's why you twist the pipe cleaner 3 times so it doesn't untwist while you're manipulating the mesh, okay? So there's that. And you noticed I did the outside cut edge over the inside cut edge. Once again, that's to protect the cut edges from fraying even more. We're going to skip that one and come over here with our last piece of the champagne mesh. Uncurl it on the table, curl side down, fold it in half, and then we're going to come back and put that in there. Do the same thing at the other end and start ruffling. And the rest of the project, I'm going to ruffle both ways intermittently. It won't be the same the whole time, okay? I'm going to go here. Sometimes I even ruffle it halfway, and then because it's so curly, then I go to the one-handed technique. This is the one I'm most comfortable doing. Because there are some days I'm making tons of wreaths. When I mean tons, I'm, let's say, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I need different techniques to keep from it being monotonous. I do a ton of original designs, but I do a ton of pancake wreaths, which is the same technique over and over and over again. So sometimes it's nice to have a little, not do it exactly the same every single time, if you know what I mean. I'm going to take that outside cut edge over the inside cut edge. Outside cut edge over inside cut edge. That's sticking out over there, and it's down there. So where am I off? There it is. Right there. Alright, so there's the champagne. Let's go in and do our pattern stripe, which makes it easier to also gather and ruffle down the center because you have a visual guide within the mesh. I'm wanting to make sure that the pink edge is on the outside of the wreath, so I have to remember that as I am putting the mesh in the wreath. And I did do it right on the first level. Whew. I'm still going to use the chip clip. I'm going to use it to mark the center, but it's also more than anything at this point to hold it down because this is the center of the roll, so the curl is much more intense and it will fight you. So I know that I need to go down this stripe here to gather. This one also has some fabric to it. The cream part has a fabric texture, where the rose gold and the champagne that's sparkling, that's a tinsel. That's a deco mesh. Okay, I'm holding it there. Making sure the pink goes outwards to the edge of the wreath. Put that in there. Just checking to make sure my hot glue gun is on because we're going to need that in a little bit. Outside cut edge over inside cut edge. Outside cut edge over inside cut edge. This has got a point, so we need to adjust that. I am not grabbing the edge. I'm grabbing inward. Excuse me. Get these out of the way. They're getting in my way. Let's see. Where's the end? There it is. Super curly. Having to uncurl it backwards because I want the pink on my right. I'll fold that in half. Put it on the table. Use the same line to gather it up to center. And notice I'm not checking on the bottom edge because I have the pattern. I'm confident I'm on center. You should see me when I'm flying through multiples a day. Got the speedy hands there. Alright. Put this in here. twist, low, 1, 2, 3, pipe cleaner in the air, outside cut edge over inside cut edge. Bring those out of the way, and then put these outside cut edge over inside cut edge. This one wants to curl that one. Okay, so that looks good. And last but not least, we're going with this one. Super tight curl. No, it was right. What am I doing? Fold it in half. Put this in the center. And I'm going to bring it up there. As you can see, this is way curly. I may even put this on as well as the chip clip. It's not handling the resistance. Okay, stop. Stop. Okay. Gather. And then I'm going to put that. In there. Put there. Twist 3 times. I think that was 3. It was at least 2. Put that there. And there you go. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Little family business to attend to. So now we're done with putting the second layer of mesh on. You saw me do all that. So a decision needs to be made on whether we want to put the sign on next or the ribbon on next. When I put a square or a circle sign on, I usually do the sign before I put the ribbon on. When you get an odd shape like a star or a bunny or an egg or an oval or anything different than just a basic shape, I recommend putting the ribbon on before the mesh, but before the sign. But in this case, we're using a rectangular sign, and I'm putting one set of pipe cleaners from the mesh at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, so I know where my center is, and then I use that to guide attaching my sign, getting all these other ones out of the way. The center of the church door would be the center here, and the star on top. And this is where that cool needle comes into play. I'm going to take that and I'm going to punch it through all the mesh, slightly under the sign, so it's not visible outside of the sign. And I'm going to wrap the tip of the pipe cleaner around it and pull it through. Now, when I put a sign on, I recommend that you do one side and then go to the other side and then do this, do an X formation. It helps you get it more evenly in there, and it will also help you keep it level. So that means I did that one, so I want to come down here and do this one. Same thing again. Bend over the tip of the pipe cleaner. Make sure the pipe cleaner is under the sign. So I'm going to use that plastic I protected the sign with before to put on this, because I'm going to be turning it over to attach. I'm going to put a little pressure on the sign when I'm attaching, so that it settles into the wreath but is not smushed in there terribly. We just want it to stay in place. And then we take that pipe cleaner, and it usually comes out near a crossbar, or at least another pipe cleaner from the base, and you just wrap the pipe cleaner from the sign around the frame until you run out of pipe cleaner, and then you make sure the sharp point of the pipe cleaner is facing down towards the front of the wreath. Why do you do that? In case your customer has a glass insert, you don't want to damage their window. It'll scratch them. So you're not pulling it all the way through to the other side. You're just putting it back down into the wreath. Okay. I see a few pieces of fray, so I'm going to address those now so I don't have to deal with it later. You can't see them, so I look like I'm just cutting air. But this is when you clean the back when you're back here. Get that done. Turn it back over, and it's nice and settled, but not snug. Now we'll go do this one and this one. And then we get to play with the ribbon again. Make sure that needle is slightly under the frame sign. Pull that through, pull it off the needle, and then go do the other corner, and you're done with the front side. That one twisted, so I gotta untwist it and pull it the rest of the way through. And again, let me put this away. I'm gonna use that to cover my sign while I have it flipped over so that I don't scratch my sign. That would be horrid, horrible, frustrating. Such a beautiful sign too. Twisting it around till it's gone, poking the tip down to the other end. Another reason why you want that plastic is because you want to lift your wreath if you're turning it around so that you're not scratching it on whatever happens to be on the table. There's a little glitter from this project, so I also try to sweep it in between sections. All right, there's a little more fray there. Okay, there we go. I can throw this away now. You don't want to pull it too taut because otherwise it'll start to buckle. And it's perfectly set. It's not going anywhere. It's stuck where it's at. And now I'm going to add the final ribbon tails, the last 6 bundles. On the bottom layer, we pulled the edges of the tails out to the edge of the wreath, edge of the table. Same thing. This time we are going to flare them out on the top layer. I also did on one side where the 1.5 inch was towards the center on one side and it was towards the top on the other side, so that rose gold and gold one are facing there. That way you're seeing all the designs. Gathering these up the center, I'm going to grab it like this. And I like to start at the 10 o'clock position. Put the 10 o'clock and the 7 o'clock, I would say, position mesh in first. Ribbon. 2 to 3 times. And then you're going to put it up in the air so it's out of the way. And on the first 3, I'm going to have this one facing the sign. And I'm going to curl it a little bit. We want to cover a lot of the mesh. The mesh is your solid foundation. Go ahead and get all these, and the difference from the bottom is I'm putting both of these 1.5 inch to the outside edge of the wreath. Or on the bottom layer I did it mirrored image, not mirrored, opposite. Okay, so when you get to this point, I like to take this wood dowel pen or pencil and give it a little fluff by holding it like that and running it under the ribbon. It gives it a nice fluff. Now if you're going to put it behind a screen door, it's still gonna look pretty. It's gonna lay down the fluff in the ribbon tails a little bit, but not all. It won't look smushed. Okay? I'm going to do this one next. And then I'm going to come up and do this and this. Why do I do it that way? I like the ribbon tails at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock on top of the bundles on each side, so it looks, just finishes it nicely that way. Tight and low, 1, 2, 3. Lift these out of the way for now. So now this one is going to be opposite. The 2.5 inch rose and gold ribbon are going to be to the outside of the wreath. The stripe is always in the middle. And then the polka dots are going to be closest to the sign. Okay? Lift, separate position. Lift, separate position, and then position the top. I'm going to use that dowel again. You can either do all 3 ribbons at the same time or one at a time. It's up to you. Pardon if you hear a bunch of slamming in the background. My husband just got home from work. Let's go over here. No matter how many times I say shh, he forgets. That's okay. We're making it work, right? All right. I'll do this one. Put it in there horizontally. The pipe cleaners were vertical. 3 times. Twist it up. Well, twist it low and tight, but then move them up out of the way after you're done. So this guy is closest to the wreath sign. Lift and separate. Okay, get that little bubble down there out of the way. There we go. Lift, separate position. This ribbon was a little wrinkled when I bought it. So if you use a hair straightener on the lowest setting and run it over the ribbon real quickly, you can get the wrinkles out so you don't waste product. This is a little more delicate ribbon with all that glitter and such. That one there. Now we're going to do this one. And then we'll go back to do the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock position. 1, 2, 3, up and away. So remember, now we're going to put the glittered up 1.5 inch closest to the sign on these 3. Nope, not these 3, on this one. These guys got me all distracted today here. And I didn't curl those, did I? So I'll go back and do that. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. Here we go. And I will fix that. Lift, separate position. Lift, separate position. Okay, so let's go back over here first. Get all of these fluffed out appropriately. This polyester ribbon, it can give you fits, but it's beautiful. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Come on. I'm going to use this here. I'm making it super fluffy today so you can see how big it can get. Alright, let's get that one ready. The hot glue gun is set and ready to go for adding the embellishments next. Lift this up and in the air. So now this one is going to be opposite of that. Here. I think this is going to make a great winter wreath as well as obviously for Christmas. Get this all fluffed up. Turn it around. Do the final one. Twist 1, 2, 3, nice and low. Lift it in the air out of the way. So this is going to have the rose gold and gold stripe to the outside. Lift, separate. Okay. This one I didn't even need to use the dowel to fluff. Let's see how the other side does. Lift, separate position. Lift, separate position. And I'm going to use the dowel after all. Okay, there we are so far. This is fun. So I think since we're going to be putting several of these in here, I'm going to go ahead and prep them. Get these tags off. Three for sure, because I may not be able to use a whole one in each space I'm putting it. And then we'll go from there. I have enough to put a whole one in each section, but that might be overkill. Don't need that on my finger. There. Okay. So, I was thinking about it while I was working on the process, and instead of doing curly cues, well, maybe I will. I can't decide yet. We'll know in a minute. I'm just going to twist the pipe cleaners around. I think I might leave them like this. Let me do one. And I'm twisting the pipe cleaner around the pencil, pen, or dowel. I'm using a dowel. And then what I think I'm going to put a piece of this under the ribbon tails. So let me get everything separated out. Yeah, I'm not going to need 3 more than likely. So let's take a look. So this will be one. You can either pull it apart or use your wire cutters. Get this out of the way. That might be enough. That is what, 3, 1, 2. That's the front, I think. Like that. This is one style. I could do 3 versions. There's that one. And then this one at the top. This has 4 balls. I think I'll just use 2, honestly. And do them exactly the same every other will be. So there'll be 3 different designs and 6 ties, so it'll be 2 of each. I think I'm gonna put this here. Or that there. I think that's what we're gonna do here. So then we're gonna have this one. So this one matches. Does that seem right? There's 2. Nope. This one matches this one. Let's go there. That must be this one, yeah. So this and this. So this will go behind this. This one's just falling apart like crazy. Well, I get to show you another tool. So there's that. I'm dry. Pardon me. So that is this one. This is this one. And I need one of those. So I ordered 8 and I only needed 2. Okay, so this one here has this, 2 leaves, a stick, that, and that. So, what's missing? Anything? 1, 2. 1, 2. This is spare, I guess. Double check here. Nope, it's this one. Okay. So let me get this out of the way and grab my tool. One moment, please. It's going to be a little racket and a little movement of everything. It doesn't matter how big the table is, it's never big enough. Stick some tools away that I don't think I need right now. Definitely don't need scissors for this part. Or the chip clip. Alright, this is a stem machine. This is used, it's a steel pick machine. It has these little metal picks. Let's see if I can bring that in a little bit. Maybe. Where's my hand? There it is. See this little metal pick? This comes out of the machine, and I'm going to leave it in this perspective for just a minute. So I'm going to bring it out a little bit. Yeah. So I can show you. This fell apart. This collection fell apart. So I'm going to use the steel pick machine to put them back together. Gathering all of these, the leaves, and that pine cone. But I'm going to cut the tips off of the rest of these so they're nice and short. Where'd it go? There it is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put all this in a pick. And I'm going to try to make sure this stays in there too. And we're going to take this and wrap the pick around that. That didn't work. Okay, let's try it again. Get this one out of the way. Put a pick in there. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to make sure my fingers aren't in there. But these are pretty short, so I am going to put my arms into this, and it didn't tighten up. It took 2 picks out. I've been having a problem with that lately, so what I'm going to do now is going to put glue on this. and I'm going to place it under the ribbon and stab it through a little bit and wiggle it and leave it alone for now. We'll come back to it, but I know that, let's see, that one's this one. Make sure we're hiding all that metal in there. Let's go a little bit more. There we go. I'll fix the ribbon in a little bit. So the next one is going to be the second design. And then this will be the same, the third design. So that means this and this are the same. This one's all in one piece, so I don't have to put a pick on it. But I do need to put more glue in the blue one. Okay, so this is going to go under these ribbon tails towards the sign. Ow, and not burn yourself. So we'll fix that ribbon when we come back to it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twist this up. Oop, wrong way. Outside comes towards me. There. We'll play with that later. So now oh, this is the same as this one. So that and all of that. Nope. I did it. This one goes a different spot. I boo-booed there. This is not the same as that one, so we'll put this one. So it's going to go here. So it's this one. To that. This goes there. I should have just laid it on the wreath. Is this one? And this is this one. So this is this. That. Two of those. And the pink thing. I'll go with this one. I get quieter when I'm thinking. There. Put some glue on that. Those two match. Glue sticks everywhere. Glue. I'm just going to get another one because I just don't know what I did. Okay. Let me do that one first. It just really bumps up the look when you have that little bit of additional embellishments. want this one here. I think. Let's see what we got. All right. So this goes here. And then we have these final two. Which two do I want to do? So there's that one. I think that's what we'll do. So we got that, pine cone, a few of those, one of those. Well, where'd it go? This is not the same. With this one. Open. So we want two. That. Is that everything? Yep, that's everything. Let's get the rest of this out of the way so I'm not confused anymore. And we're going to use the stem machine. Come back here. It's running away on me. There it is. Okay. So, this, and this, and this, and this. Let's cut the tip off of this one. Is that right? We'll cut that off and add the other piece that's missing. So that will go there. That there. Okay, I think I might have lost you guys. Alright. Roll that down. Down. Some through here. I also, when I'm done, want to make sure none of these metal tips went through the back of the wreath. So remember that. There we are. A little glue on my hand. Wiggle it a little bit so it stays where you put it. And I'm done with this. It's heavy. Wow, it went back faster than it came out. Oh, of course. Right? But hey, if there's a will, there's a way. Get these twisted. I love this wreath. I can already see that. Alright, let me put some glue on here. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And I'm going to turn the glue gun off. So I don't leave it on. That would not be good. Glue out of the way so I don't wear it. Okay. So now, first I'm going to fix my ribbon on the top. I'm not going to bring out the floral elements too much because our goal is to still make it storm door friendly. So I like that. So that. Glue strings. If you, I look like I'm going crazy, it's not. There's glue strings. That looks okay. Fluff this one. You need to go back under. You need to hide a little bit. Okay. Let's get this in place. I'm concentrating. You can always tell when I get quiet, I'm concentrating. Okay, and let me just go around the bottom to make sure everything is out. Lift the mesh when you're moving the ribbon on the bottom layer so that you don't snag anything. Glue off. I really enjoy how this came out. It's 3. It's 4. I'm lifting that mesh so I don't snag anything. It's 5. Okay. There's a little bit of glitter on the face of the sorry, I lean over in front of you guys. Alright. There's a little glitter on the sign, but I don't want to mess with it and scratch it right now until I find a Swifter pad. Those work perfect. So there we have it. All complete. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video today, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, all with the same handle, including YouTube. It's Wreaths by Marguerite. I have new content every Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so you can tune in each Sunday and see something new and different. I also wanted to point out that I know that your time is valuable. So the fact that you carve out some time to spend with me making these projects means a whole lot to me. So thanks again, and I hope to see you at one of the next tutorials. Have a great day. Bye-bye.